Yoruba youths to feature Tinubu as African man of the century. Century? I mean, not even decade, century. Okay, let's go. The 2023 Yoruba National Day is expected to feature presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as African man of the century. African man. I mean, we're not even talking Nigeria alone, which I'm talking the standards are just, okay, fine, you're really going to skip over others for this man. And then Africa as a whole, let us be humble, please. But again, they're right. The President General and Grand Council of Yoruba Youths, Comrade Awa Bamiji, who disclosed this to journalists, said in Ibadan, the arrangements was to stage this year's edition under the chairmanship of Araba Ifayemi Elebuibon, Araba Voshogbo, and Agba Awo of Yoruba land in grand style and in full preparation of the millions of people of the Southwest region for next year's general elections coming up between February and March. Of course, he has to do the elections. Perfect timing. He said they will also endorse 3 APC Southwest states gubernatorial candidates, listing them to include Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun Ogun, and Senator Teslim Folarin Oyo. He added that the bestowment of the beautifully carved Odua Oriolokun Awards would be bestowed on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as African Man of the Century. I mean, if you want to make it it seems very much Yoruba-centric, the award itself is carved in, I'm not sure what the translation is, but it's in Yoruba. So if it was going to be a Yoruba thing and they came together and they said, okay, fine, great. But African Man of the Century, that's big. And I personally don't think, well, my opinion, not that it matters in this case, but I don't think Tinubu should be getting African Man of the Century. I mean, come on. Do you want to have an argument? He added that it would tolerate only speaking of Yoruba language throughout. Exactly. So if you're going to say Yoruba man or Southwest Nigerian man and you want to argue and, again, I'm not Yoruba, but I'm African. So, in fact, my opinion even matters. Let's even stay there. What? You've left the standards of just his ethnicity, his country, his region in Africa, and then the whole of Africa for a Yoruba award. Come on. According to him, the topic of discussion, 2023 Yoruba Land Electoral Victory is Our Turn, Bring It Forward, is to be delivered by the chairman of the Action Congress of Nigeria, Ondo State, Ambassador Shola Iji, international human rights activist, former 2-time gubernatorial aspirant in Osun State, Otumba Jumoke Oyi Ogunkeyede, Osun State, and the Kogi State-born most popular former president, National Association of Nigerian Students, who was severely incarcerated by military juntas during the June 12 struggles, Comrade Segun Maigu. Okay, I don't know what to think about that. Personally, I believe that if it's going to be, it'll be more valid if it was going to be a Yoruba award, and it seems like the only guests are going to be Yorubas. The award itself is going to be carved in a Yoruba name. The Yoruba language will be spoken throughout. So it's fair to say this is an ethnic award, and if they want to if you want to endorse Tinubu, just say that. I don't know what is hard. Just say, well, we think he's the one for us. We think he's going to be the president. It's better to just say that than give someone the title of African Man of the Century. I mean, who decides that, first of all? And secondly, when you say African Man of the Century and all the stakes just have to do with being Yoruba, then it's not accurate, is it? I'm not trying to be mean, but let's be honest. I don't even personally think he's Yoruba man of the last, decade. And you're talking century. I mean, am I mixing things up? That's a welcome development, but not to be Nigeria's president at this age. It won't work. Wow. President of Africa? I mean, the best award could have been the best Yoruba man of the decade. Futureless youths whose futures have been eaten up by the very old men. Literally, Best Yoruba man of the decade. Even of the decade, I don't think of the decade last 10 years. I don't want. Okay. If anything, 2020 would have spoilt that. Anyways, the point is, even decade alone, and you're gonna list the standards. Are you serious? Like, again, if it's Yoruba man, okay, fine. The Yoruba youths come together, they decide. It's not my opinion, it's not my business if that is what their standards are going to be. But to make it for the whole of Africa, okay, come on. Come on. I'm sure it's not going to take a lot, not going to get a lot of rounds, but really, if it did, I mean, we're talking fights online. It appears nothing matters to some people except money. If El Chapo had enough money, his crimes would be forgotten. Where is morality? How can so many people worship a criminal? It is what it is. It's just, I just don't understand. Just say, like, I think, just be honest. I don't know what word or what way to put it. Just say you're going to endorse Tinubu. Just say that. You can just come out and say, you know what, we believe he's the next president of the country. Make outrageous statements like that and leave it in that bubble, but not saying African. Wait, let me even get it. As African man of the century. I mean, come on, let's not embarrass ourselves here, please. I mean, this is why a lot of people talk about Nigerians. No, this is why. This is the reason. It's the reason. This is why a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that. Like, leave it to, don't cast it on the whole of Africa. If I'm other African countries, I'll be very offended. Excuse me, how dare you? This individual, I don't know who he is. The last century? Are you serious? Century. With the history. And other people that have done, wait, you have nothing. Let's not talk. Because we're actually going to have an argument. But let's see what people are going to say about this, because to be honest, I mean, surprise, surprise, we have these supporters that are like, yes, he's going to be the president, da. But just straight up, just say, you know what, this is the person we endorse. Make a whole event. Organize the event. Say this is what we're doing. Speak Yoruba only. Carve a Yoruba award. That is great and fantastic. Like, fantastic and great and beautiful. It's great, fantastic. But to call him African man of the century, you make me want to laugh. In fact, I laugh in Swahili. I laugh. Like, I literally laugh. I laugh in Kosa. I laugh. Put what you think in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.